Thanks for tuning in to another video of me struggling with the guitar in a different way this week. And this week is very guitar specific. If you watched some of the other videos I did recently, some of them are guitar specific, but some of them are just like, last week I did triad pairs that applies to a lot of different instruments in a lot of different use cases. This time it's very much guitar specific, and it's something I always struggled with, even way before I played jazz, and it's something I never really come to terms with. It's kind of a technique fretboard issue, and I think a lot of guitarists kind of feel that pain. This video is titled Practicing Everything Across the Neck, and it comes from an idea that guitarists love boxes. We love shapes on the guitar. It probably comes from the place that most of us at some point in their guitar lessons learned this, like a pentatonic or a blues scale, which is a great thing because I teach that to my students, because it's a very confined space that makes sense somewhat. You tell a student, when they're just starting, learn this shape and over this song or those and those chords, just use your ear and fool around with it a little bit. I know there's more to it later on, but at the start, that's a great starting point for improvisation, for rocking out, for just having fun, because it's this limited area on your neck. However, that freedom we have to express ourselves in this limited area very, very quickly can become a kind of like a prison or an actual self, what would be the English way? Like something you put on yourself, like a boundary you put on yourself. I often, for example, if I play a jazz blues or a blues in B flat, and I would start playing, I would learn it in a certain position. For example, I learned a blues in B flat like around here, in kind of, B flat, 3rd fret. So I learned it here in the shape of like G minor pentatonic, or like B flat major scale. I learned it in there, so I would go like something like that. But I was very quickly just stuck in that one position, and then instead of reaching out, I would learn kind of another position high up the neck. So I had the second option, so I would learn it up here, like, and then I would change between the two. And it's hilarious. If you watch stuff even from me not that long ago, it's a bit embarrassing, you can see that I have like those two positions, and that's how I work. And then obviously you go into college, or you take lessons with someone, and they tell you, if they're a good teacher, they tell, look, there's more to the guitar than just those two positions. But there it's kind of where the thing starts. Then what I did as a guitarist, I kind of like then learned all the other boxes. So the next box would be here for B flat. So I would something like that. I would learn B flat blues in that position, and then if you do that, you have like 5 to 6 boxes at the end, and then you try to connect those boxes, but you kind of still very much thinking in the terms of a box. Today's lesson is called Practicing Everything Across the Neck. That means instead of like going from a space where we're practicing in a confined box, let's say I'm in this G minor box and I practice all the arpeggios on all the triads in this box. We don't do that. We go always from the lowest point to the highest point of the guitar, or the highest sensible point. That's like a thing every kind of guitar teacher tells you. You see it in a lot of masterclass lessons. And I knew that from pretty early on. I just never really did it, because I didn't quite see the benefit of it, because I thought, I don't play like this. But the benefit is really getting to know your neck. Let's say, for example, blues in B flat, and we do this exercise like that. That means we look at the notes, like first we do arpeggios. We look at the notes from B flat. So we have B flat, D, F, and A flat. So the lowest possible note is F. So we play F, A flat, B flat, D. Then we change the harmony, because second bar is like E flat 7, so we go E flat, G, B flat, D flat. Change back to B flat 7 on the D, the 3rd, D, F, A flat, B flat, and then another bar of B flat, all the way up to B flat here. Then next note is E flat 7, so we go to this note just about possible the 7th, D flat, to the 5th, to the 3rd, to the 1, and then you can decide another bar of E flat to 4, or if you want to go to kind of the diminished thing, would be the diminished thing, going back to a B flat 7, and then to a G7, to a C. Now we have to start again, so we go back up. Now it's a C minor 7, so we go G, B flat, C, E flat, F, A, C, E flat, and then just only if you stay with the quarter notes, just 2 notes now because we have 2 chords per bar. So we go F, A flat, and then we go B, D, and then we go E flat, G, and then we go A, C, and then on B flat here. So that was kind of like up, down, up, down. So we went through all of that 30 arpeggios. And the great thing about that is it kind of forces you to leave the position you're in all the time. This is not supposed to be learned as an etude, like that you find like one way and practice it really, really fast. You obviously can do that if you fancy, but the idea is to always find a slightly different way, but have the chord tones in mind. That really maps out the guitar for you. Then like every fret becomes like a note. You find different avenues of connecting those chords, and later on that will sink into your playing a little bit more, finding avenues not to connect those box shapes that we have in our mind so much, but connecting the actual thing that we play, like the arpeggio or the scale or the phrase. It just ties it all a bit more together. So the other thing is obviously you can do that with scales as well, which is a bit more difficult. So for example, first scale, I know with the blues it's kind of I actually play very often the major scale over blues, but like harmonically speaking now, let's play the Mixolydian scale. The scale for B flat 7 would be E flat major. So you start and you go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and cross up the neck. That would be the first bar. Second bar would be A flat major. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and back to E flat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So you do the same thing with the scales through all of them. So when I'm here, E flat, then I go back A flat major because we have E flat 7 in the second bar. So I go second bar, back to E flat major, and then kind of to C harmonic minor for the G7, back to B flat major for the 2/5, second bar, and then back to E flat, C harmonic, C harmonic minor, and then the 2/5. So that was not quite right when I did that at the end, but you get the gist. At the end it would be major again. Jesus, it's a bit of a head wreck if you think about it. I mostly use a major scale for blues in some way, and alter the 7 sometimes, and something like it's a topic for another video. A lot of jazz, if you transcribe a little bit, you find out a lot of them play kind of not quite the Mixolydian scale all the time over the dominant, but that's a topic for another video. Anyway, this is a super helpful exercise. Do everything, like every order of arpeggios, like if you practice rhythm changes, for example, like those scales, like a D7, G to C to F. I did that a lot lately. Just do the scales up and down, like the Mixolydian scales or the Lydian dominant scales, whatever you like. Practice up the neck, like for example here, D, going into C major, into F major, into B flat major, into G major again. To repeat it. Those things are super helpful. It's one of those things I wish I would have done earlier. It would have saved me a lot of trouble, and I for sure would be further on the guitar if I had done it earlier. So it's just a really good exercise as a warm-up to get a little bit out of the boxy thinking. And if it even just does that for you, that's definitely worth it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you stick around maybe for another one next week. Try to make this a regular thing. Thanks so much for watching, and goodbye.